Welcome to the Juan Podcast Show. First of all, shout out to everybody that's rocking with me. Shout out to everybody that's really supporting me in this podcast journey. This is my first episode. So I'm going to tell y'all the truth. My first episode never got uploaded. I guess YouTube or maybe it was from God. Maybe it was a time. Maybe I couldn't upload that first video, but now I felt like I took some time off, and now I believe I should, get into different things. And today we want to talk about trauma in your life. I'm talking about childhood trauma. I'm talking about trauma, relationship trauma, anything that's trauma, right? They said trauma, right? The definition of trauma, right, is a emotional response to terrible events like accident, rape, or a natural disaster, right? So trauma could be anything. And I believe my trauma is like my testimony. For the man who I am today, the husband, a father to my daughter, the trauma have built me the way I am today. But can I tell you the truth does it affect me sometimes? Yes. I was looking up trauma some more. They was talking about longer term reaction includes unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, straining the relationship, physical symptoms like headaches and nausea. Like trauma could really trigger a lot of things out of you. Trauma is not where it's at. And like I said, it could build you. But sometimes when you build off trauma, you build off survival. So you guard your heart. When people come at you, you attack first. I know you've been there before where you attack first. And I'm trying to get to the point with my life where a lot of people sees me like, oh, Ridwan's funny, goofy, he's funny, he's always laughing, he's always smiling. The whole time I was breaking down inside. Check on your people. Check on the people that's laughing a lot. Check on your people that's like really just smiling. Check on them because you never know what they're going through. You never know. And the real honest truth, the happiest people be the broken ones. And that's hard to say. Like, no, they happy, right? So why would they even feel that way? The sad truth is that everybody experiences trauma. Everybody. Whether it's childhood trauma, relationship trauma, anything, emotional trauma, anything. But I had realized that trauma, I had to figure out, even me having a daughter, right? Even the way I was raised off whooping, and I was raised off, beat them. But now I have my own child. I don't have that same mindset. I'm more of, I want to talk to you, tell my daughter what's wrong. Let's talk about it. Because back in the day when our parents used to whoop us, we don't know why we get whoopings, especially with my mama. My mama would just hit me, and I love my mama. Shout out to my mom. My mom raised a good man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I am built off my mama singleness. She's a single mama, so shout out to her. But she tagged me up. I'm the only son. I have 4 sisters, so shout out to my moms. I love her. She's a hardworking woman. Had 2-3 jobs. We always had a house. My mom always made sure we was good. But did we have bad times? Yes. Every family have that. But the trauma my trauma really started off like my dad coming in and out of my life. I think that's where I started to, when my mom and dad split up, it did something to me. It's just crazy talking about this because it's just things that you gotta relive and talk about it. But this is the reason why I want my podcast to be honest and be real, and all my stories going to be really 100. No fabricating, no lies, no nothing. So with me, I feel like my trauma started at 10, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like this 10-year-old real one is still inside of me. And even though I'm a grown man, I'm 30 some years old, I'm still dealing with stuff that happened to me as a child. You know, I mean, as a child, I was, being called stupid. People looked at me, I was dumb. I really didn't have good grades. People looked down on me. It was a tough time because as a 10-year-old, I wish I knew who God was, because I would have just prayed. But dealing with that was just looking into the sky, knowing people thought I was dumb and not smart, and you know what's so crazy? I grew up saying that, yeah, y'all know I'm dumb. That phrase, oh, y'all know I'm crazy. But to fit in, I wanted to fit in. So I had to find a way to fit into the trauma. So I adapted to my trauma. It was hurting me inside when somebody called me dumb. It was hurting me inside when somebody called me stupid. It hurted me, but did I say anything? No. I was trying to adapt to my environment, adapt to the trauma. So I became a comedian. All right, I became a comedian. I felt like that's the best way to cover up the pain, right? And if you cover up the pain, it eventually it opens up. The more you dig that hole and you trying to cover it up, it's gonna come back out. And that's what I did for so long. So even relationship trauma, like I got my heart broken by a female in junior high, you'd be shocked that a lot of men and women, if they get their heart broken from a certain age, they never got it resolved. People like, oh, I moved on, but did you really move on? Did you really, really move on? You really love that person, so did you really move on? Like, stuff like that. Like, we got to stop lying to ourselves. We have to stop lying. This trauma, this what they say, emotional response to a terrible event it's a response to our body. Depression kicks in, stress, anxiety. This trauma hurts you, but we cover it up. We gotta stop doing that. Especially for me. I like to cover up my pain. A lot of people see me like, man, he a happy dude, but it's like, no, I'm really fighting real life demons, which a lot of people are doing. And that's what I wish I went back and talked to God, because if I knew God at 10, I wish I knew him earlier. But it's never too late to know who God was. But because I was battling these things, I got older. So I grew with the trauma. I never solved the trauma. I never really talked about the trauma. So guess what? When you get in relationships or you even have a child, you put that trauma onto your kids, or now you put that trauma onto your wife, because you never resolved the trauma. People say don't go to counseling. Why? I believe people need to go to counseling. I believe that there's something there's like I said, trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event. If something happened to you, why not get help? Oh, I'm a man. I could do this. I don't need it. But you really do need somebody to navigate your mind. See, God keep that balance in me. If I didn't have God, I'd be crazy. But because I pray so much, because I believe in him, I know that there's better days. And I knew God could heal my trauma if I presented to him, because now I'm at 30 some years old now, and I'm trying to battle these traumas that happened to me in my childhood. Now I'm out here really looking crazy, but it's like God said, give me your problems. I will help you. I love you. God loves you. He loved me. That's why I'm still here, like, and strong-minded, because the devil trying to take me out, but I have to figure it out. I had to really lock in. And I'm like, okay, God, I don't know what's going on, but I need you. We gotta submit to God. He gonna get us to where we gotta get to, but we gotta believe. We gotta have that faith. But if this trauma keep beating you in your head and you're not expressing it to nobody, what you think is gonna happen? Your kids gonna suffer. Your relationship gonna suffer. We gotta figure out how we could take this, how we could heal from our trauma. That's why this episode has to be vulnerable. Like, I have to tell you the truth. Because trauma, like, I remember growing in grade school, um, from first through fifth grade, I was supposed to repeat. Um, but they had pushed me, to second, third, fourth. But I never had, I had all F's, F's and D's. That's what you know, and that's what they put me. That's what I had to go through, and they didn't even know why. My parents didn't know why it was going on. People was like, "Is your son okay? Like, why is he?" So it's okay, right? And even though I'm pausing a little bit, just know that I'm reliving these trauma. But I want to express it to you, like, if you experience this trauma, it's okay. Talk to God. Give your problems to Him. And can I tell you the truth? I wasn't raised in no church. I wasn't raised, knowing who God was. God found me in college. I found God in college, so in my 20s. I didn't really get into it until I got to college, but I wasn't really active now that I am now. But I'm still learning God. But I'm learning that if you take some of that trauma and talk to Him and give it to Him, He'll heal you day by day. It won't heal you right away. Because, see, God is not a microwave God. He's a oven. It takes time. You put it in the oven, it takes time. He stirred the pot. It takes a minute for the blessing to blossom, but it gets there. Microwave, they take it's fast, right? Ding. No. That's what I love about God, that He really had a hold in my mind. See, a lot of people need to pray for their mental, because if you don't got your right mind, you can't raise your kids. If you don't got the right mind, you can't have a good relationship. If you don't got a right mind, you can't be a good husband. We got to get to the point where we got to stop being afraid to talk about our trauma. It's okay to cry. I cry all the time because I know I'm better than what I'm doing right now. I'm better. I know that God got me in a position where I could change people's lives. And I got to stop hiding from it. I'm going to tell my truth. Yeah, it's okay. Black man, you could cry. It's okay. Hey, our single moms out here, you cry. It's okay. But God sees it. He sees it all. Miracles are blessings is already created, but you got to get to them. Learn them. Just give Him a chance. I gave Him a chance. I know I could sit here all day and talk about what God did for me, but I'll tell you this, He never took His hand off me. God laid His hand on me, on my chest, and said, it's okay. This is your winning season. You're not going to lose. You can't lose because I got you. And when I was to understand that, and I felt His presence, what am I afraid about? What are you afraid about? If you got God beside you, and you got the angels surrounding you, protection. It gets to the point in my life, I got to really lock in on this faith level. I'm talking about faith. I'm talking about just jumping out there, doing my purpose. I can't let this trauma take over me, or trauma should take over you. But you know this trauma is getting to the point. You know this trauma is beating you inside. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Stop hiding from the trauma. That'll make you weak. What makes you strong is going through the trauma, getting it to God, and going through it. But hiding it ain't gonna get you nowhere. It's gonna show up. It's gonna show up in you. So, therefore, I'm gonna cut off right there. Just give you a little snippet. My first episode of Trauma. I would like you guys to subscribe to my channel. Comment below. Comment how you feel about my podcast today. I really want to know how y'all feel about it. Like I said, today's topic was trauma, and this is part one. I'm gonna try to stretch it out to like 3 parts of it. So this is part one. I'm trying to make my videos too long. I'm trying to, catch y'all attentions for a long time. So, yeah. So like I said, subscribe to my channel. We got a lot to talk about. Next topic, we're gonna go into the mental trauma. Like, we're gonna go deep dive into the mental. And that's the next topic. So shout out to everybody that came this far to watch my video. Like I said, I'm kind of nervous. This is like my first video, so I really need y'all to really comment below to really let me know how I did. So, catch y'all later. Peace.